Hello, and a very warm and sunny welcome from East Sussex. I'm really thrilled to be here today. My name is Jo Baldwin. I'm a mentor and publisher, and the dogs are here too. So the dog is just saying hi and moving the camera. This is Archie. My dog's here too. So we're in the garden, and I am very thrilled to be here today with the guy, one of the most amazing ascension guys I've ever met, and I've met a couple of you, and author Jen McCarthy. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Jo.
Great to have you here. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So today we wanted to switch back a bit. Today we wanted to focus on a very big topic that I know has come to the forefront of your messages, and is very much at the core of my work, which is Dharma and what our purpose in life is.
It's a big one.
It is a big one. You know, everyone is feeling in different ways the impact of what's happened in the last year or so. This is a message I've always asked my clients and asked anyone who comes into my privy to think about what they do, and whether they are truly fulfilling their soulful purpose for being here. We often, and I definitely have had jobs, I've had careers, and I've done things in my life that felt right for everyone else, ticked a box, earned the money, and actually there was no fulfillment because my soulful purpose, my dharma for being here was not being fulfilled and tapped into. So thankfully I've changed that now, and part of my work is obviously helping others to see and value their true potential and place. So I'm really excited to talk to you today.
Oh, great. I love this subject.
Well, I'm just going to let you talk about it because I know you've just published your book, which is here, folks. If you haven't got it already, incredible. It's an absolute joy to read. And I just wink it in. It's written so beautifully, easy to read, but also so engaging, and it just flows. So Twin Flames, the event, on Amazon. You can buy this now. So Jen, you have had an incredible life so far.
I have,
lots of changes.
Yes.
But you are now working with. So tell us what you're doing. Could you share with us what you're doing now?
Well, I'm an ascension guide. I assist people to awaken out of third dimensional caterpillar consciousness, the indoctrination of all the matrix, to activate their spiritual DNA, you could say, to transform to become the butterfly. So I assist in that transformation from third dimensional consciousness to fifth dimensional consciousness. So a really, really good analogy to explain third dimensional consciousness is the caterpillar. So the caterpillar represents the potential. But it's very limited. It has enormous potential, but it in and of itself is limited. And then we go through the evolutionary process where we take responsibility for our consciousness, and that's such a huge part of ascension, is understanding that. And there's been an attempt to hijack our consciousness. The Matrix has tried to hijack our consciousness and indoctrinate us and hypnotize us with spells of limitation and lack. And so unless you step up and take mastery over your consciousness, it's just going to be hijacked. So at some point on your evolutionary journey, you have to just stop being lazy and just kind of like sucking it all in and just absorbing all of the programming of the third dimension. And you have to realize that it is our duty, to become the observers of our monkey mind, of our egoic consciousness. And that very, very simple act of non-identifying with the temporary thoughts and the sensations and emotions that stream through our consciousness, the very simple act of just becoming simply the observer, as opposed to one who identified, oh, I feel this, I feel sad, I feel a victim, I feel just, oh, there's that thought of victimhood, oh, there's that thought of. That is simply what enlightenment means. It is simply where you lose that identification with that which is temporary, and your consciousness is firmly anchored back in the present moment, which is the 0 point field, which is the gateway to full multidimensional consciousness. So what I speak about in my work is that everyone thinks that they're searching for a guru, a teacher, or a twin flame. Everyone's so hypnotized to believe that it's something outside of themselves that is going to, that will kind of like satiate them or will quench their thirst. But the truth is, it's you. you're looking for you. I'm looking for me. I'm looking for my consciousness to be fully anchored and grounded in the present moment. Like, this is where the 5D party's at. It's not anywhere external from us. It is absolutely purely in the present moment. And so we must find tools that will enable us to stabilize our consciousness within the present moment. And that simply is what ascension is. That simply is what enlightenment is. It's where you take mastery over your egoic mind, because you understand that if you don't, then the matrix will. And that is the very definition of spiritual mastery. So that's my job, is really assisting people to awaken, and I share very powerful tools that that enable that to be fast tracked, for your awakening to be fast tracked.
Yeah. Okay. And so you've got YouTube channels, so you can find Jen and look at Jen's work on YouTube and on Facebook again. You're back on after being banned.
Yes.
So fantastic. And obviously, one of the offerings you're going to be doing now is shamanic healing for corporates, which is amazing, which we'll come on to at the end.
Yes.
We'll talk more about that. But obviously, if anyone's watching this and they're interested in finding out about workshops that we're going to be doing, which is really exciting, because
it's really exciting.
Corporates have struggled as well for many different reasons in different ways. And what you're offering is a healing space for employees, for cultures, for the whole corporate environment. But let's come back to, because obviously this isn't what you've always done.
No.
So this feels, does this feel like now like your dharma? This is like,
oh my
exactly
God,
where you've
5 billion million %. Yeah.
And what is, so let's hear about how
my journey.
If you could share what you used to do, because you used to do this, and most importantly, I think for people
how
watching,
transitioned.
and how the difference that's made to your life.
Okay, well, I mean, I had a spiritual awakening when I was 21 on top of the Himalayan mountain whilst chanting the mantra of Namah Shivaya. And one of the first things that my spiritual team revealed to me was my dharma. And they said to me, your greatest mission in this world is to work with children, is to work with the inner child that exists within all adults. Your most important work is to transmit your knowing of God consciousness through music. And they said to me that you'll be a fashion designer. And I was like, really? I'll be a fashion designer? I was like really amored and kind of like, wow, that's because I didn't know. I mean, I come from a designer family, but it was not something that I'd really picked up. They said, yeah, you're going to be a fashion designer. So I ended up becoming a fashion designer and I was one for 11 years, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, that was my dharma then, you see, Jo. I've never really had a job that wasn't my dharma, but I absolutely loved it, because I loved the getting old scraps and turning things that people threw away and turning it into something precious and beautiful and unique. So I used to work with recycled materials, and I used to cut up old jumpers and sweaters and make them into skirts and long cardigans and jumpers and all sorts. So I was a fashion designer for 11 years, and it was quite a journey, and I absolutely loved it. It was very, very hard work though, doing festivals and markets and actually going out physically selling the work was very, very full on. But it got to about 2015, and all the way, many times as a fashion designer, I was like, oh, I'm about to birth my role as a spiritual kind of, guide or whatever. And I think it was time, but then it wouldn't be time. I wouldn't be supported. So I tried to launch it a few times, but it wasn't divine timing. And then it was 2015, and I just got back from Bali, and I'd done a little collection in Bali, and I'd actually bought this amazingly incredible design. It was like my final design that I went out on this amazing bang with this design. And I started doing all these markets and all these festivals and events, and I didn't make any money, and it was completely unheard of. I was very, very supported financially in my work, but every single event I did, it was like zero, or I lost money. And I think I did about 10 events, and I was like, and then I finally realized, oh my God, the universe is really telling me something here, that they're not going to support me to do this work. And I was a bit put out by that, because it was my comfort zone. I wasn't ready to let go of my career. I absolutely loved the creative, artistic expression of being a fashion designer, and I wasn't really ready to let go. but basically I was not supported by the universe, and so I was like, oh, okay, because I'd had my twin flame ascension in 2013, and I was doing loads of writing. I mean, I've written like literally like hundreds and hundreds of journals filled with channel messages, but I'd never ever shared any of my writing with anyone. And so it was May 2015, and I was just like, maybe I'll just write a blog. And I just wrote my blog, and it was channeled by, I was connected to the White Wolf guys, Brian and Sheila, and it was a message from them, they're fourth dimensional White Wolves. And so I wrote my message, and my friend Phil came to my house with his girlfriend, and I read him my energy report, and they got like really intense, like electric goosebumps, and they were like, oh my God, Jen, that's going to go viral. And I was really amazed, because I'd never read any of my work before, but that was very encouraging to get that initial response. So I just basically put out there and said, I wrote my blog, and it just went off, because what I decided to do was join lots of twin flame Facebook groups on Facebook. So I was joined like Twin Flames Eternal, Twin Flame this, Twin Flame that. And then when I wrote my blog, I posted it in all these twin flame groups. So I was able to reach an audience wider than I only had a small little kind of platform then. And straight away, it was just like people read the work and they were like really touched. I was just started getting so many emails straight away saying, I've never read anything like this, because like, might sound a bit funny, but I do have a high kind of like spiritual knowledge, and I just thought, I'm just going to go in there at that level, and I'm not going to water it down. I'm just going to share with everyone exactly the downloads that I'm getting as they're coming. And people were writing to me saying, this is just so incredible. I feel so patronized usually when I read a blog, but I just really get that you fully know me, and you know where I'm coming from on a spiritual level. And I got so many emails of that nature. And it just took off immediately. It really absolutely did. And that showed me that when you do, follow your true path, even though fashion was my true path, but then it ended, and it was no longer. I completed that timeline. And so it just showed me that when you do actually, get onto your true path, the universe just opens doors for you. Like, it's unfathomable. But straight away, I had the most phenomenal connections. I mean, I was contacted by the most highly established twin flame teachers out there. They wrote to me for sessions, yeah.
Amazing.
And that was straight away. And then I really connected with all of the teachers that like Cassidy Kane and I can't remember their names now, but I really connected with them, and straight away I just went into that kind of high echelons of authority of twin flameship, But it was to do with my my ascension experience. It was really powerful, and I don't think many people have had that.
So what it sounds like happened was that you had this message from the universe, that this isn't for you anymore. Because I would be the same. My life has had chunks of I haven't just had one career. I think I've had 10 careers.
Really?
But you've had the same. So you could class the fashion side as one career. But when it starts to become difficult, when it starts to not be in flow, that is the universe saying to you, look, there's something
better.
And the key phrase that hopefully everyone watch this or relate to, and I know I do, is the comfort zone.
Yes.
And also that sadly in the culture we're in, and so many people I know, so many of my clients have said, well, I knew it was a great job. I knew everyone thought I would stay there. And I was worried about judgment of jumping into something different.
Right.
And that holds so many people back.
Oh,
Did
really?
you have any element of that?
I did not have that.
Okay. That surprised me. Like,
really? Is that a thing?
But it takes courage.
Yeah, it does. It took courage from me to let go of that. That had been my income for 11 years.
Yeah. And then how, because obviously the emotions and the state it changes, doesn't it? When you go from that feeling when you feel like you're striving, and the working hard paradigm, again, another paradigm that we are engaged with and believe in, and I don't believe in it. I don't believe in that, and I was brought up in this into this. I think many of us
Yes.
were.
Oh God, yeah.
Possibly, but I definitely had this sort of, thrown at me constantly as a child that you have to work hard to achieve. You have to work hard. My dad was a builder and he worked all the hours, just to. But actually, that's not what life is abundant. This garden is abundant.
Yeah.
We are meant. Everything is abundant, and this feeling of lack holds a lot of people back from jumping, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I feel it holds a lot of people back from just making that choice.
Yeah.
So what I'd love to offer people watching, listening, is how does that message, do you feel, come in that suggests you to do this? So where does that inner voice and that signposting come from to take a path that's different?
I mean, I can only speak from my own experience, and because I'd had that experience on top of the mountain when I was 21, I sort of went into a vibration of being a spiritual elder. Even though I was only very, very young and I didn't have anyone, I just was holding this consciousness because I basically had a near-death experience without dying. And so the whole entire third dimensional veil was just completely and utterly opened, and I saw what was on the other side, and it was just absolutely pure God and heaven. And so because I had that experience, it put me in that place of being a spiritual elder. And so I always felt this pulse, this need to serve, to share what I experienced on top of the mountain, because the moment I had that experience, literally the moment I knew it was for everyone. It was for me to tell everyone about God, So I always had this incredible energy rising in me, wanting to birth it. And it's like I said, it took me a really, really long time. I had a lot of humility, and a lot of I had this thing that I never ever wanted to be separate, because I went into oneness and I understood that everyone is the Christ and everyone is God. I got really irritated by facilitators, because I'd often see with facilitators that they would try to create a separation, that they were a little bit more advanced, or they were this or they were that. And I just didn't want to have anything to do with that paradigm. I just wanted honouring everyone to sit in a circle as equals, and me to not ever be put on a pedestal in any way, because that was the complete antithesis of the truth. And so I think that I had a huge amount of resistance on some level to showing up as a leader. So I think it took me a really, really long time to work through that. And that was to do with clearing my ancestral lineage around martyrdom, around many lifetimes of persecution as a feminine, as a wild feminine. So it wasn't like I just kind of had my spiritual awakening and then could suddenly become who I am. I had to go through quite a lot of initiations to let go of the programming that was keeping me small. And a lot of it was to do with my mother and my feminine line. But there was also this huge resistance around not wanting to separate myself. But then I ended up connecting with my twin flame, and he's a really well-known public figure, and his higher self came in and said, this is not good enough. Unless you can match me on in terms of your public profile, we're never going to unite. And unless I can match you where you are at spiritually, we're never going to unite. So to be honest with you, that was my incentive. I think I was comfortable just being quite in the background doing my sort of Blu-ray work, but somehow it was my connection with him that sort of forced me into the public eye. But it's not something that I really wanted particularly.
Well, so I don't think many people do really.
No, I don't know.
Well, yeah, they but I think actually I think it's what a lot of people struggle with. It's certainly what a lot of women struggle with, is the idea that to lead is to put yourself on a pedestal, is to put yourself at the top of the tree with all the responsibility. But it's not, is it? I feel it's more a case of being true to yourself, following your path, and then allowing others to watch, observe, and join you if they wish.
Yeah, that's definitely
that's kind of how I see it. And you covered loads of points there, but there is there is an honouring, isn't there, of this? What reminds me of what a lot of ministers say, that they have the calling to God, and we don't necessarily need to go down this for this video maybe, but the calling for you was holy and it was divine, but actually I'm someone who didn't believe in God for
I didn't
35 years of my life. I didn't know what God was because of my Church of England background. So I didn't believe in God or a God. But what Dharma definitely is in my beliefs and the way I see it is that it's your calling, and you don't need to label that as God or holy or divine, but actually it's what stays true for you. You mentioned you did a post a little while ago about what you really desired to be when you were a child. And actually this has, in a lot of research and a lot of studies, and a lot of Dharma experts, has proven to be at the core of your purpose for being here. So I'd love to invite everyone who's watching and listening to really think about what you are, what you have always desired to be. What is that when you were a child? What was that playful, energetic, joyful self that you desired to be? So you and I both practice being teachers.
That was my favourite game.
Lining up the teddies and and
doing
just
register
doing register and just helping them to the teddies to learn. How did that go? How did that work out?
Oh, brilliant! I loved it. It was
Was the feedback good? Did they all get A's?
Yeah, they all got A stars.
But I relate to that, and that's what my initial desire was, and then I flipped it and said I want to be a police officer, but that came much later, and obviously that wasn't.
Do you feel that was part of your Dharma?
For sure. Yeah, it really was, because I realise now and validate the experience of doing a job that was to fulfil and prove something to someone else, which was to my mother. So I became a police officer to become important. Because I didn't feel important, and I didn't feel valid. So by getting a number on my shoulder and becoming a police officer, I then had a level of authority and value which I didn't feel I had myself without
an identity in a way.
Exactly. So everything is Dharma, but actually, and I feel part of my message is to give everyone permission to move on, to jump out of that comfort zone. Don't just step out of it, jump out of it, and to keep following your purpose, because it does change. It can change, or maybe it doesn't, but it can. And now is the time for coming into your truth. I feel it's a time for coming into your truth and really valuing every moment, every day of why you're here. So amazing talking to you, Jen. It's been really, really great, and hopefully the sound is working. So we're live on 5 channels without even knowing if the sound's all right, but hopefully the birds are tweeting wherever you're watching and listening. We are offering, obviously, corporate shamanism, healing. Tell us about what you see as that, and why you've been called to do that.
So what I've been shown is that the Earth is ascending, and so Earth is transitioning from a 3rd dimensional realm or paradigm into a 5th dimensional realm and paradigm. And what is supporting in that birth is photonic light particles. And these photonic light particles, they stream forth from galactic central, and they interact with our DNA. And they're a bit like a microwave. So our DNA is quite kind of calcified for the most part. And so these photonic light particles kind of like sort of like microwave those hard kernels of DNA, and they transform them to be popcorn. This is such a wonderful analogy to explain the ascension process. So 3D is like a hard kernel, 5D is like a popcorn. So you can't control this. It's like as a mother is birthing a baby, you can't just like stick the baby back in the womb. There's just like, this is what's happening. We are going through this birth where we are transitioning. Now, because of that, the very, very heavy 3rd dimensional structures are being addressed at this time, and there's kind of like a timeline split that is occurring. And so what I've been guided to do is like introduced to the corporate world trainings and teachings that will enable them to up level to work with these ascension energies, because if they don't, they're just going to collapse, they're just going to die. It's either go this way or you're not going to make it. And so what it is, it's about bringing happiness and healing back into the corporate world. It's about addressing like interpersonal relationships, really recorrecting a lot of the distortions within the corporate world, particularly around how they communicate with each other. There's a lot of blame language, there's a lot of victim language. This is really unacceptable at this stage in our planet's evolution. And so we're going to go in there and assist in the training, or assist to train the workforce and the CEOs of all levels to have a great deal of mindfulness, particularly around their communication. And so my intention to do that is through accessing the working with the inner child and contacting your own inner child and connecting with the inner child in your work colleagues. Because if you're connecting with the inner child in your work colleagues, you can't be abusive to them. You just can't. So it's really about bringing that awakening conversation, that awakening energy into the corporate world. And my intention is to really assist in bringing enlightenment to the people, all the participants. That is always my intention with everything I do. I'm a kind of like a one-hit wonder. I'm like, I just want you to have one session with me. Like, I'm not one of those people that give you like a year lot. Like, I want to get the job done. That is always my intention. So the intention is for everyone involved to have an awakening, and a lot of that is about identifying what your story is. We've all got a story. We've all been abused. We've all been abandoned. We've all been betrayed. Everyone has. I have. But it took me a very long time, even after my spiritual awakening, to realize that I was completely addicted to perpetuating my story. I was addicted to talking about my story. I was addicted to colluding with my brothers and sisters to say, oh, I am a victim. See, look, God's so shit. I am a victim. I was addicted to that. And then I realized that everything I speak, I'm casting a spell. So if I'm just perpetuating that victim story, I'm just creating more and more of that energy. So on I've had 3 major sort of like awakening initiations in my life. The second one was an understanding about language and about my relationship with my story. And I realized that I was waiting for some external figure, be that Archangel Michael, be that someone else. I did a video. Sorry, that's been. I was waiting for someone to give me permission to let go of my story. And I just had this revelation one day. I was like, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. Like, that is the greatest illusion of the third dimension, is the fact that we externalize the spiritual authority outside of ourselves. And I realized that I have to take responsibility to drop my story. And then I was like, oh, if you think about it, all instruments are empty. Like, the guitar's is hollow, a drum is hollow, a flute is hollow. That means that it was like, I just had this complete revelation that was my responsibility, to drop down my story, to drop my story, so that I could just show up in each moment empty, without this narrative, without this victim identification, without this addiction to wanting to collude with my brothers and sisters about how shit life is. I just dropped it. And then that's when my vibration just went absolutely through the roof. It really did.
And what you're also talking about is like dropping the labels we give ourselves, isn't it? Because we did give ourselves labels of single parent, of
single mom, totally,
ex fashion designer, whatever they are, and all they do is hold us in the past. Because what the lovely theme to all that you've said is actually the only time we have is now. And so bringing ourselves right into the present moment. Of being healthy, happy in this beautiful garden, is what it's all about, isn't it?
Exactly. And I always say to everyone, if you really want to make Mother, Father, God do a happy dance, just drop your worries, drop your cares, and go into that state of consciousness where you're on holiday. You know, when you're just on a holiday and you're just by the sea and you know you've got nothing to worry about. Whenever we can get into that state of consciousness, we make Mother, Father, God do backflips and all sorts. So it's like, that's the aim of the game. you know, that's the aim of the game for me anyway. I just want to make God happy, and I've completely and utterly devoted my life. And you can replace the word God with subconscious mind, the universe, oneness, all that is. There's many, many names. In fact, in Hinduism, there's a million names for God. It doesn't really matter. It's the creative force. It's the creative force that created the trees, the stars, Archie, us. It's just the name of our creator. And we're all intricately at one with that via our subconscious mind and our superconscious mind. There's no separation. Like, you are God, you know, but there's just this filter. There's this program, or, you know, that has us believe that we're separate from that. But that is a lie, and that is an illusion. So our work is to help everyone wake up from the lie to their true divinity and their spirituality, and to really, really bring a culture of deep honoring and respect back to the workplace. Because these companies that take us up on this, they're going to fly. They're going to absolutely take off in the new paradigm once the quantum financial system kicks in, you know, and that's all based on intention. It's the quantum financial system. So it's going to be make or break. So I feel like Spirit is guiding us to kind of like hold their hands, to say, right, we're going to help guide you into the higher dimensional kind of like realms or paradigm. So it's really, really exciting. And so if you are a CEO, or if you have contacts with a CEO, and they're waking up, they're on the awakening path, and they want to bring a spiritual shift into their business. I mean, obviously, we do want there to be an increased productivity within the workplace and an increased creativity, which there will be, you know, and a really, really a trust, because there's so much in the corporate world. There's still so much trapped in this lack conversation, isn't there? And it's like, we need to let go of that, you know. And if you happen to do if we happen to facilitate a course, and one of the participants wakes up and she realizes that, you know, she wants to be a Reiki healer, and, you know, that's a good thing. And if that space, if she then goes, then that space will open up for someone that's really, really deeply in alignment with the vibration of the company. So it's about shifting this lack and control paradigm conversation into one of trust, you know, trusting that when everyone follows their heart, and when everyone follows their happiness, everyone benefits. The whole benefits from that.
And that's sing Archie like that. And that's our purpose. That's why we're really here. To be happy and to feel
we are here to be
the
happy.
Value and love of all that we are in a present moment.
Yeah, and we're here to serve our brothers and sisters, and we're here to really, really atone our shadow self and do the deep work, you know, to love ourselves. And to me, you know, loving oneself can be such a kind of, you know, ambiguous. What does it actually mean?
Yeah.
You know, I used to think loving myself meant, you know, eating a certain food, or raw food, or doing yoga for 3 hours a day. But what I really realized is that loving myself is understanding that we all have a wounded aspect, and that it's our duty, it's my duty to stand underneath my wounded aspect, to listen to her and validate her. And as I do that, I then alchemize her and bring her home back to divinity. And this is a huge part of the work that we're going to be sharing, which is kind of like soul retrieval work, self-love. So it's so important that we become masters of self-love, but we realize ultimately we're here to be in service. That is the main primary purpose of our incarnation, really, is 99.9% to be of service.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jen. Absolutely, yeah. And I look forward to doing these workshops with you.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And so thank you for watching and listening. Well, we hopefully you've heard us out here in the garden. It's such a beautiful day. We just couldn't go inside, really. It's too nice. And if you'd like to know more, contact me via my website, jobaldwintrott.com. And obviously, if you want to inquire about the workshops, they are ready to go. So we're ready to offer those whenever they're needed. And obviously online at the moment.
Yeah.
And obviously Jen's book is available on Amazon. As is mine, I suppose. I'm going to mention that one too.
Yeah, definitely.
I hope you've enjoyed this. Please add in comments and share the video if you've been inspired. and I will look forward to
Just to make
seeing
one
you
announcement.
again. Oh, last announcement from
So
Jen.
just to let everyone know that I will be hosting a 4/4 global transmission on the 4th of April, and I've been really, really strongly guided to work with the Arcturian healing chambers and the Arcturian healing baths. A lot of us are really, really going through a lot in these times, and it's very, very appropriate for us to access and activate this higher dimensional support. So it's going to be a real rejuvenation and boost for everyone that takes part. And also, I've been running my transmissions on YouTube for the last 6 months, but I've been really strongly guided to come off YouTube and to do it, make it a more intimate and more exclusive event. And I'm going to be offering them on Zoom now. And so I'll post all the links. I'll send Jo the link to book onto the 4/4 transmission. We're also going to be working with sending spiritual support to the divine masculines. Divine masculines are quite vulnerable at the moment, and we're going to be sending a blast of power and very, very focused support to assist them. A lot of them are coming out of these karmic relationships. There's a huge shift in relationships at the moment, and these photonic light particles are no longer supporting these asleep relationships, and people are waking up, and things are shifting, and people are coming into more alignment with their true soul consorts. So we're going to be sending a boost of support to the divine masculine to help them wake up to their true divine feminine. So if you're watching this as a divine feminine and you really, really want your personal masculine to receive a specific boost of support, please come and join your energy on this powerful 4/4 portal.
Brilliant. So you can find Jen on her YouTube channel, and also the details of the posting as well. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it, and get in touch if you'd like to. JoBaldwintrott.com. It'd be great to hear from you, and I will be back again soon. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, guys, and please can you share this video? Like everyone on YouTube, please share this video. It's there's a lot of really, really powerful codes that it'd be really, really great to get out there.
We've covered a lot, and the dogs helped, obviously, to instill our message.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for watching, and have a great day, whatever you're doing. Take care.
Bye, guys. Lots
Bye.
of love.
Bye.
Yay.